Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what we know. A Washington state resident fell ill after returning from Wuhan, China, where the outbreak began. Officials now say more than 400 people have been sickened and 9 people have died.
My administration will take all necessary steps to safeguard our citizens from this threat.
So the CDC has confirmed another case of the coronavirus here in the U.S. This time it's in San Diego. The patient was on a government-chartered flight last week from Wuhan, which is the Chinese city at the center of the outbreak.
Now, the virus that we're talking about having to do, a lot of people think that goes away in April with the heat.
The coronavirus could become a pandemic. Federal health officials are saying that and preparing for it.
You may be hearing about schools shutting down and businesses closing in countries in Asia to reduce the potential spread of this virus. The day may come when we will need to implement such measures in the U.S. communities.
What every one of our experts and leaders have been saying for more than a month now remains true. The degree of risk has the potential to change quickly, and we can expect to see more cases in the United States.
We do expect more cases, and this is a good time to prepare.
We have a total of 15 people, and they're in a process of recovering, with some already having fully recovered. We're at that very low level, and we want to keep it that way. So we're at the low level. As they get better, we take them off the list, so that we're going to be pretty soon at only 5 people, and we could be at just 1 or 2 people over the next short period of time.
The latest now on the coronavirus emergency. This morning, the number of cases worldwide is topping 93,000. Meanwhile, here in the U.S., there are now at least 108 cases, and the death toll has climbed to 9 people. Because of all we've done, the risk to the American people remains very low.
Breaking news. The first death from coronavirus here in the United States. A man in his 50s dying from COVID-19 infection in Washington state. The president also defending his administration's response, but less than an hour later, before a conservative audience accusing Democrats of trying to weaponize the virus politically.
Now the Democrats are politicizing the coronavirus, and this is their new hoax.
This as COVID-19 continues to spread, with more than 100 cases across the country, at least 15 states affected.
While visiting the CDC, the president was optimistic about efforts to contain the virus.
President Trump downplayed the scale of the outbreak.
In this big, vast land of ours, this great country of ours, we have 240 cases. Most of those people are going to be fine. A vast majority are going to be fine. We've had 11 deaths.
But those numbers are not correct. There are at least 277 confirmed cases and at least 15 people have died.
However, current global circumstances suggest it's likely that this virus will cause a pandemic. Now, it's not so much a question of if this will happen anymore, but rather more a question of exactly when this will happen and how many people in this country will become infected and how many of those will develop severe or more complicated disease.
To be clear, the Dow Jones dropped more than 2,000 points this week. Are you suggesting that was overblown? Are financial markets overreacting here?
I think the financial markets are very upset when they look at the Democrat candidate standing on that stage making fools out of themselves.
Seattle has seen the virus spread to at least 70 patients. In nearby Kirkland, the Life Care nursing home has seen at least 8 of its residents die. Families are outraged at the lack of response and communication from the CDC, the facility, and local authorities.
Pictures, are you protecting yourself at all?
Not at all. Not at all.
Across the country, health officials are rapidly trying to ramp up their testing and contain the spread.
But we have it so well under control. I mean, view this the same as the flu.
Some of the Emerald City's biggest employers ordering workers to stay home. Overnight, Microsoft and LinkedIn confirming 1 worker from each company testing positive for the virus. Amazon and Facebook already closing their offices until at least Monday amid the outbreak.
They would like to have the people come off. I'd rather have the people stay. I don't need to have the numbers double.
And now another major American city seeing the virus spread within its borders. Harris County, Texas, home to Houston, confirming 3 cases overnight. In New York, the number of cases doubling to 22.
And I think after I win the election, I think the stock market's going to boom like it's never boomed before. Just like it did, by the way, after I won the last election. The stock market the day after went up.
Meanwhile, growing fear and outrage in New Hampshire, where an employee at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center returned from a trip to Italy symptomatic. He had been told to self-isolate but broke the quarantine attending a party. Now both he and another person linked to him have been confirmed as New Hampshire's first 2 cases.
Since the early stages of the foreign outbreak, my administration has taken the most aggressive action in modern history to confront the spread of this disease. We moved very early. That was one of the decisions we made that really turned out to be a lifesaver in a sense.
After signing the coronavirus funding package, the president suggested the outbreak was unexpected, even though his administration was issuing quarantines and travel restrictions in late January.
It's going to disappear. One day, it's like a miracle, it will disappear. But we're ordering a lot of different elements of medical. If, we have thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that get better just by sitting around and even going to work.
And this is their new hoax.
The number of cases has climbed past 100,000 in more than 100 countries. Italy announced overnight that the northern region of that country is now on lockdown, affecting a quarter of the population in the heart of its economy. Here at home, the virus is spreading coast to coast. Cases in more than 30 states, at least 9 governors have declared states of emergency. More than 400 confirmed cases in the U.S., at least 19 deaths. And the economic impact spreading beyond Wall Street, with more events canceled, schools closing, travel restricted, and major companies urging employees to work from home. Should Americans be braced for these kinds of numbers?
There is no question that we should be informed about how we should manage our own lives. It's very important for people to understand that this virus is like other viruses. It should be treated the same way.
I'm trying to get a sense of your view on the magnitude of this possible crisis.
I think it's possible for large numbers of people, and there's no question that more people will be detected as we do more testing.
CDC is a bottleneck for this nation in doing the testing. You go to CDC, the tests have to go back to Atlanta, they have to do the test, they then have to send it back.
But I think importantly, anybody right now and yesterday, anybody that needs a test gets a test. They're there.
Well, what kind of assurances can you provide the tests are on the way?
Well, over 1 million tests were shipped out.
The CDC was caught flat-footed. I believe they're slow in their response, and I believe they're slowing down the state.
They have the tests, and the tests are beautiful. Anybody that needs a test gets a test.
But the key thing is everybody doesn't need a test.
If there's a doctor that wants to test, if there's somebody coming off a ship, like the big monster ship that's out there right now, which, again, that's a big decision.
As you know, the Grand Princess is docking, the cruise ship is docking in Oakland tomorrow. What plan is in place to deal with the 3,500 people on board?
The cruise ship personnel, and as you know, the Vice President met with the CEOs of the major cruise ship companies yesterday. And they are coming up with a plan within 72 hours of that meeting.
The ship's docking tomorrow.
The plan will be in place by that time, but I don't want to preview the plan right now.
Shouldn't you be able to do that?
I think it needs to all come from a solitary source.
Like the big monster ship that's out there right now, which, again, that's a big decision. Do I want to bring all those people on? People would like me to do that. I don't like the idea of doing it.